just talk a little bit about myself. So my name is Rosie Lananga. I'm Oregon's State Governor, and I care a lot about climate change and about our Earth because I love nature and I love being outside, and I want all of our coming generations to enjoy that, like just our Earth. And so my 3-point plan is about acting on climate change. So the acronym is ACT. So A stands for acting in your home, which means doing little things like planting a tree, composting, like all the little things you can do to help. The C mainly applies to fifth graders. It is like having class meetings to see what you can do in your school to reduce climate change. And then the T stands for taking time to share your knowledge about climate change, because if you tell others, then they will recognize it's a problem and want to help too.
Wonderful. I like that. And you're getting to spread the word on ACT as you go do your job, right?
Definitely. It's my main
That's
priority.
super. Are you enjoying your time as governor so far?
I love it. It's been such an amazing experience so far. I've been able to do so many wonderful things. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, you and I have something in common in that we both really like animals. And so, what to say there? The personal stuff is I'm a dad. I have 2 really nifty kids. That my daughter's 27, my son is 23, soon to be 24. And I have a really nifty partner in life named Linnell. And this may get to a question that you have later, but I really love the outdoors. And so I'm always trying to get outside and do the things that I like to do outside.
That's great. I saw your name was Ken Helm, and I've been wondering, since the Barbie movie came out, do you get a lot of Ken jokes?
Yeah, it's sort of in the beginning, when right after the movie came out, yeah, I got a little bit of teasing, and then it sort of died down. But what people tease me with is Kenough.
Oh,
Is that Kenough? Yeah.
that's
So
funny. Okay.
it's all right.
So now for questions like about the environment, stuff like that. Let's see. So what is the biggest environmental issue you think is impacting Oregon right now?
It is a climate change effect. Luckily, we're receiving forecasts for this summer saying that we're doing pretty good with water. So it means that snowpack has been okay. Our reservoirs have filled up. Our rivers are looking healthy. But you'll probably remember those really super hot summers we had a few years ago. That's a
Yeah.
long-term trend called drought. And I think long-term drought is one of the most significant climate change effects that we face and will face in the coming years too.
Yeah, I find it how like weird that it says we're in a drought, and I know we are, and like our groundwater supply is diminishing and all of that, and yet we get so much rain. It's
Yeah.
like it's crazy. Um, so how do you think like climate change in general is affecting us Oregonians?
Well, it in so many ways. From wildfires have gotten so much worse. The forests are really vulnerable. The trees in the forests, they've been getting really hammered, I guess is the right word. And some parts of the state, the fir trees are dying at an alarming rate. And um, our seasons are coming earlier, and so crops, they grow faster. They sometimes cannot be as predictable. There are places in the state where they don't have the workers that they need because at the right time, because the cherries or the apples or the pears get ripe too fast. Mushrooms are not growing in the forest like they used to. They come really early. So the warming trend is changing the environment a lot, and that's hard for us to adapt to.
Yeah, climate change is not very fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's see here. So how do you think fifth graders can get their voice heard in like the Oregon legislature? Talking about like the Oregon legislature.
Really, Rosie, just like everybody else. I'll tell you a quick story, too, very quickly. Last week, we had a bill that had to do with creating a trust, so a fund of money that could be utilized by animal rescue shelters because they don't have a lot of money. Their budgets are pretty thin, and they are vulnerable to shutting down and reopening and stuff. And so, to support that bill, a group of fourth grade Girl Scouts had time, and they came and testified at the committee that I chair, and they did an excellent job. And so so that's one example. A few years ago, we banned plastic plates and knives and forks for school lunches, and that idea came from kids at a elementary school in my friend Rob Nose's district, and they came and testified, and we passed the bill because of that. So you don't have to be an adult to be effective at advocating for a bill.
That's so great. I love when kids get involved. So it probably ties it's like a follow-up question, but how do you think Oregon fifth graders can make a difference on climate change, or like in the legislature, or just in general?
Again, you should feel like you are empowered to advocate, but I think it's important to pick one or two things. Everybody knows that we should be doing something to respond to climate change now. And so just simply saying to people like me, well, you ought to be doing something, pick something that you want us to do. Do you want us to try to plant more trees, for example, so that the trees grow and sequester carbon, which they're really good at doing? Or do you want us to try to come up with more electric vehicles? And then you can drill down, you can get really specific and educated on one aspect of responding to climate change and be a lot more effective in how you're doing your advocacy.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of because you're a representative, what do you think inspired you to become a representative, and what do you love most about being a representative?
What I love most about it is that I can have a really, really big impact. I'm just one person, right? So I can inspire others to work as a team to get some important things done, things that suit my values. And in my career life, I was a environmental attorney, so I've always wanted to protect the environment. Then I was able to bring that here and protect the environment in a different way. So you have a lot of opportunity as a state legislator to do big things that you probably couldn't do just by yourself outside the legislature.
Yeah, that's so great. I really want to work in politics or be a representative when I grow up. I think that'd be so fun. So when does your term as representative end?
We were just reelected at the end of last year, and so for a representative, the term is 2 years. My term this time will end in early January 2027.
Okay, that's a long term. Usually, they're just a year or something like that for other jobs or something. So that's
Right.
really great. So, can you explain to me what it's like to create a law in Oregon? And so, like, what steps are involved from like the very beginning to the end? How do you create a law?
Well, I think the first step is to to take an idea, a real problem, and then you need to try to come up with a tentative solution, and then you share out your idea for solving the problem with with a group of people that are knowledgeable about that, and then take that. So it's always better to use more brains than less, right? You're used to the idea of crowdsourcing, and so you need to not be so in love with your own idea that you think it's the best one. So you get it out there, get some people to chew on it, and then you make it better, you make your solution better. Then the process of making it into a bill is that you submit a bill concept to our lawyers here, and they bring you back something that will fit into our law books. After that, you introduce it into the system, and then we have a separate office called the Office of the Chief Clerk. Their job is to take all the submitted bills and then make sure that they are correct form and all that. Then the bills go to either the Senate President or the Speaker of the House, and then they get it assigned to a committee. And once they're in a committee, the bills will get what's called a public hearing, and you've experienced that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the place where people get to advocate, and questions are asked. Committee members get to ask questions and discuss. If everyone thinks it's a good idea after that, the bill has what's called a work session, in which we decide that we're actually going to vote the bill into one of two places, usually one or two or three places. But after that vote, the bill may go across to the Senate and have the same process. And then if everyone in the Senate agrees as well, it goes to the governor and gets signed into law. And
Wow.
every part of this, the scary thing is when you get a good idea and you think you have a good solution, every step of the way, your bill can not move forward. We call it dying. Your bill can die. And that means that these bills or solutions get a lot of attention. And if they're good enough, we expect that they'll do good things, because the process is pretty difficult to get a law enacted.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet a lot of the laws that we create are very worth it. So let's see. What is the most exciting project or law that you've been working on recently?
Yeah, I saw this in your email. You're going to love this. So I have been working really hard for the last 5 years to create wildlife crossings on our major roads and freeways. You can probably imagine that a lot of animals get hit. A lot of different kinds, all sorts, squirrels, everything from a squirrel to an elk to a bear, to other animals. So one of the problems is there are places around in our road system where the animals really want to migrate. They are moving around either seasonally or yearly, and we know where they are. And so we can build animal underpasses or overpasses to help them get across the road without being harmed. And I don't know if your family ever travels to Bend or Central Oregon, but
Yeah, we have.
yeah. Well, next time you go, if you get a chance, one of our oldest crossings is near Lava Butte in Bend, and it's an underpass.
Write that down.
Yeah, you might even be able to find it online, Rosie. You can go to the Department of Fish and Wildlife's website and search wildlife underpasses.
Oh,
So, and you may even I think they may even have a live cam that so you can see either photos or live stream. But that one underpass decreased the number of animal fatalities there by 90%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's a
so
lot.
there's only a few critters getting through. And of course, when it's a big animal like an elk or a deer, not only the animal gets hurt, but sometimes the people in the car get hurt too, and we don't want that either, right? So these underpasses protect people and they protect animals, and we just passed a law that's going to increase the number of those around the state. I hope quite significantly over the next few years.
That's so great. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
If you increase it, like if animals thrive much better like that. Let's see. So what do you do in your free time when you're not working in the legislature?
it depends on how many days I have for that free time. If I have a bunch of days, I'll go and float, take my family and float on a river, and hopefully a river that I can fish on. And then, yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I would highly recommend it to you. And then if I don't have too much time, I like to do woodworking. I build furniture for and things for my kids and stuff that I use. So I really like to do that.
That's so great. I could never like work with wood or stuff like that. My dad is pretty good at it. I could never all the saws and all that. I can, but that's so great. I'm actually
I bet you could if you wanted to. You can kind of tiptoe into it without having to run those scary machines.
Yeah. So you talked about wait, no, I didn't ask this one yet. So where's your favorite place to go in Oregon?
Again, if I have free time, what I'm most likely to do is take my raft and I go float on the Deschutes River and camp for as many days as I can get away. That's my favorite place. It's my favorite river.
So I always loved camping. I do it a lot in the summer with my dad sometimes because my mom and my sister are indoor cats. So I love camping.
Oh, great. Good for you. Mm-hmm. It's a fascinating world out there.
Definitely.
And
I think
I know we're at time, so I just wanted to check if you're okay to keep going, Representative Helm, or if you have something you have to get to.
Yeah, I think I had planned for 1:30, and whenever Rosie's done.
Okay, I just have like a couple more questions then.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. So what can Oregonians do at home to protect these natural places that we've like talked about in Oregon, the coast, or like the Deschutes River, or stuff like that, to help protect these natural places and ensure that they stay beautiful for as long as possible?
One, just, as everybody goes about their business, don't do things to harm the environment. So folks shouldn't litter. That's an easy one. People, when they're hiking, for example, should stay on the trail. People, when they're driving off the main highways, should stay on the roads, not drive off everywhere. And we should be careful with fire, because accidents with fire burn thousands of acres every summer. So you just have to be responsible. And then we really need people to advocate for a larger share of our state budget to be put toward natural resource conservation at the state level. So there is a fund called the Oregon Conservation and Recreation Fund that I helped start a number of years ago, and people can donate directly to that. It's a state board, so it's a part of state government, but in order to fund it, people can donate. And when they do so, that money is pooled together and is given to organizations in the form of a grant. And then those folks may get volunteers or they may get other money. And then they usually do conservation work, like they'll go into a stream and they'll plant riparian plants and clean it up so that the stream gets healthier. So folks can support that kind of work by just understanding that the funds are there, and if they want to donate, they can donate.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna see through the questions if there's any more that I missed. Second. I think that's it. That's all the questions I have for you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I hope. Are you going to interview other legislators as well?
I think it would be really fun. I would love to interview more representatives or senators. I think we'd get a lot.
Yeah. Now, I think I may remember, do you come from my district? Where's your hometown?
I live in Portland.
Okay. What part?
Oh, well, I don't really know what part of I know I'm represented by Representative Wynn.
Okay, that was my question.
So I'm over by like his district.
Super. Great. Well, I really enjoyed talking with you and hope you enjoy your time. If you have questions, if you get excited about a project that you like, organizing fifth graders to do something interesting around climate, and my office can help, we certainly will.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I'll make sure to reach out.
Very good. All right. It was so nice to talk with you.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
Have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. And